Welcome to CS 133 Columbia Gorge Community College, the Dalles, Oregon, Mrs. Hughitt instructor. We are headed into week 8. During week 8, we're going to be starting our first Excel project. So if you still want to turn a PowerPoint extra credit in, this is going to be your last week to do so. Once we get past this week, you basically won't be able to do 40 points of book extra credit any longer. You'll only be able to do the 20 points worth for Excel. One of the 2 chapters we'll be doing. So you need to go ahead and take care of that this week, because this will be the last opportunity to have 40 points available to you. So now moving into the week, you have your objectives, you have some the textbook PowerPoint that comes with the textbook, you have some YouTube support here, you've got your directions, some application project information, and I'll bring this up again as we're working through on the application, but it's in written form there. This is some instructional materials about Excel. It's got a PowerPoint, and then a couple other things that you can do with it that are a little out of the box that people don't always think about. They always think about using it for like keeping money records. So a couple of things out of the box there that you can think about with Excel a little bit, because it does have more uses than the typical office money record type spreadsheet, although that's its main one. And then the tips and tricks. Please, I would suggest that you do in fact copy, print this, because there are a couple of things that are really tricky. One of those is the pull handle, where it will change, and the highlight. So we'll try to take care of that as we do it. In fact, I'll maybe just do that right now so I don't forget before we finish the video. So I'm going to open an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't have any numbers in it, but I can easily type a few. Now when it talks about highlight versus pull handle, and let me make this a little smaller so it shows on the screen a little better, because this with the projector stuff gets funky sometimes. If you're going to highlight, you just kind of take your mouse and run down and highlight like we've always highlighted. It's not any big deal. Pull handle, on the other hand, does something totally different. You have to get that little plus sign and then you pull it across. And notice it's not highlighting, it's taking that heavy box. Now when I let go, see what happens to the numbers. They're all 12s. Boy, that freaks people out. You drop this open and say fill format only, and it will put those numbers back and let you do some different operations. So if the book says pull handle, you want that little plus. If the book says highlight, you want to highlight basically like we've always done. Then if you get those funky number changes, and sometimes you do and sometimes you don't, it's kind of a machine setting thing. So some machines do it, some machines don't. My old laptop did not. This laptop does. I haven't taken the time to try to figure out what the difference is because I know the solution. Just drop that little box and say fill formatting only. So there you go. Those tips and tricks, though, they can save you tons of time, lots of mistakes, and a boatload of frustration, because you will know exactly what the book means and get them right and not have them do funky and weird and strange things. Moving on down, you've got your student data files to download again to use. You've got your upload for your learning project. The version form on this, yeah, this is another one where we're going to have some of those color font type issues. So you're just going to have to kind of be really careful with that. Application project goes right here, your reflection, your forum, and your extra credit link, and your checklist. So let's look at the book and see what you've got there. You're coming in and you're starting that worksheet with a chart. And again, you're going to want to watch this kind of front picture. So this is part of your finished product, but you're also going to have this on a different page. So you're going to have to, oops, sorry, have this on a different page, on a different sheet, as they call them. And notice the sheets have been renamed, so you need to make sure you do that as well. So they kind of give you this roadmap, and they give you kind of some intro, which is always good. And then they sort of talk about how to get started on it. And they just basically give you pictures and directions to walk you through. Again, the themes and the colors and stuff are an issue with Excel. There's no way, like with the PowerPoint, that I'm able to find those to download. They don't come in that type of file format that I can do. So the best we can do is look at colors and look at font styles and match it close. So it just sort of keeps working you through this personal budget all the way through, except this isn't really your personal budget. It's somebody's personal budget they're giving you to work with. Now, one of the things that students get into trouble with sometimes, and I don't know, let me see if I can get this to go down near enough, and then let's see if we can get it to focus. All right, that might be the best it can get, is whether or not you have decimal points in the column. Up here at the top, there are, I think this is the one, no, here it is, right over here. This allows you to add and subtract decimal points right up here under this general that can be dropped and changed. And so if you don't have enough decimal points, you add a couple more. If you have too many, like I've got numbers in, money doesn't come with 4 and 5 decimal points, guys. So when I look at that, I go, ooh, we've got a problem here. So if you're doing money and it has like 4 or 5 decimal points, you're going to have to take some out of there as well. So those are really important things. There's your comma to be added, your dollar signs. You have a lot of formatting tools up there. You also need to make sure rounding is not turned on, and I always have to look up every time how to turn that off if it's rounding it. So if you're supposed to have like 46.93% and you get 47%, put the decimals on. That's probably one of the first things to try. Try adding the decimals, because of course if you don't have decimals, it's going to round. Do that first. Then if that doesn't solve it, you may have to Google how to turn rounding off. I know I've had to a couple of times. So depending on what's causing it. But obviously if you don't have any decimal points on, it's going to have to round it. So keep, fill handle. Oh, let's see if we can go back up here a little bit more so you can see more of the page there. Okay, that's obviously turned crooked. There. So now we got a little bit more of the page. Here's what it starts talking about, that fill handle. A fill handle is going to be that plus sign I showed you a second ago. Sum on a column of numbers. That's going to be, sorry, we're not straight to the world here. That is going to be really important to do, because one of the things I can do is I can look in here using a special kind of